The issue for me, as I think for many people, is a combination of uh, sadness and horror at what happened on the 7th, what set all this off. Um, but that has now been pushed aside, pushed into the background. It's still there, but the horror, the ongoing horror of what is being done to the people and to the cities and territory of Gaza makes it even worse. One understands that Israel had to make some sort of response to what happened, but the kind of response they chose is an act of such extreme desperation, such lack of compassion and humanity that it will, I am afraid, in the long run, do much more damage to Israel than to anyone else, even including the Palestinians that they are savaging as I speak. And beyond that, I see it in the context of what I tried to explain to you today. The United States is the final authority here. The Israelis cannot and never have been able to act without the explicit or implicit support, financing, and backing of the United States. So what you see, and the same is true in Ukraine, it's not that the local people have no impact, they do, but the impact of the local people is secondary to the power politics of a declining American empire. It has lost its possibilities of allies and friendships in most of the Middle East. I want to remind everyone, if you didn't notice, the new additions to the BRICS a couple of months ago were places like Iran, Egypt, Saudi Arabia. It doesn't take a genius to understand where those parts of the world are going. It's not to the G7. It's not here. Saudi Arabia is perhaps the most glaring example of a realignment in the world. And the United States continues to use its interactions with Israel as a weapon. This is self-defeating. And the Israelis rely on the United States. That's going to be one of history's great examples of betting on the wrong horse in a race. The tragedies are not only for the people of Ukraine, for the soldiers from Russia, for the soldiers from Israel, and above all, for the mass of people, Palestinians, who've taken the worst of all of this. That will be a small part of the story if it isn't understood to be part of this bigger picture that creates an opportunity for the world. Yes, it does, but also threatens the world with conflagrations for which Gaza and Ukraine are simply early foretellings of what we face. A famous novelist many years ago tried to alert the American people to problems it had by entitling a novel, quote, "It Can't Happen Here." Yeah, well, the point of the book was it can. The point of the book was it was already. And all I can do is echo by saying we better watch out because it can, and boy, it will, because the United States remains the center of what is now holding back the kind of change the world is coming to embrace. And that is a very, very dangerous situation.